Since Peter Obi won the election in Lagos State, like Igbos never drink water, put cup down. Na so Yorubas dey pursue them like up and down, burning their shops, collecting their lands that they bought from Yorubas. E no reach for them this time around. They are now renaming all the streets in Lagos that bears Igbo names to Yoruba name. Like the level of bigotry, nepotism, division in this Tinubu government, in Buhari's government, Igbos were targeted. And now, in this Tinubu's government, Igbos are also targeted. Just because of Peter Obi won the election in Lagos State, ever since then, Yorubas, they never have peace. Take a look, my people.
Yesterday, I saw this on Hussein Rufai's Twitter page. Wetin he talk? He said, what is happening? Grok fact check. Wetin he be? Ajerumi, he fellow the local government of Lagos State. They are renaming their street. They want to get rid of some certain names. People call the allies say, now the Igbo names, they walk clean come out. It's like a process of cleansing. Make we see the names. I know say it go dey difficult for you to see these changes. In case you are stay in this local government, it go dey difficult for you to see these names, the new names. So I don't write everything out so that you go see them clearly. Make us zoom out so that you go see them. Can put that for 300. Okay, you can see it now, right? So you can see this place. The first one is Imo Eze Street before. Now, Layiwola Oluwa Street. Before, Okeri Street. Now it's now Yeye Iretola Street. Before, George Street. Now, Daddy Shoki Street. Before, Uzo Street. Now it's now Kelajaye Adeboye Street. Before, this is Agbe Street. Now is Bayewu Kama Street. Emodi Street is now Ayola Fatai Street. Osho Drive is now Mushibao Oluwa Street. Deliverance Street is now Musedik Priest. Achakpo Street is now Rabi Oluwa Street. Iwo Lane is now Chief Tajudi Ogunike Street. Hospital Road is now Chief Dele Fayemi Street. Ebubedike Street is now Adeyemi Samuel Street. Eze Street is now Muriliat Arogudade Street. Eze Street is now Erelu Mojisola Street. Ben Oyeka is now Mukola Kolawole Street. Nise Street is now Tower Ajoke Street. Jos Waribi is now Ogukoya Shina Street. Anosike Street is now Jegede Marco Street. Agbowako Lane is now Alaji Gaba Street. Umba Street is now Sawolu. Queen Street is now Erelu Iwa Street. Obo Street is now Kola Balogu Street. Kirikiri Road is now Oba Olu Iwa Road. Ikpiri Street is now Moruf Oyekule Street. You don't see how so. They don't rename the street. Before they were mostly Igbo names. They don't move them to Yoruba names. Okay? Make we go back to Twitter to see if we can pick anything from there. This one they are say, Grok, if you come to stay in my father's house, are you supposed to name a room by yourself without considering my choice? Okay. This one said, can a non-indigene name a street after themselves in the east if they are not from there? I was told only an Igbo person can do that. I could be wrong, but if this is true, then charity begins at home. And change must start with each of us so that we are not found wanting. This one said, what APC has changed within a short time is alarming. Why this ethnic bigotry? Just because Lagosians voted massively for Obi in the presidential election. Is voting your candidate now a crime? I was born in Lagos, so I am Lagosian. Or if you are born in America, does that not make you American? Why is Lagos different? This one said Google Maps is going to have a very difficult time with all these unnecessary changes. This one said timing is wrong. If you own a street, there is an annual payment you make to the local government. If you don't pay, you might lose the street to someone else. But this thing I am seeing here looks like swapping. Unfortunately, many have not paid this due for years. This the nonsense people are doing in Nigeria. Can we all agree that Nigeria will never get better? Because how are people still foolishly doing this tribalism to this extent? This one said, before you name a street, the local government must authorize it, I guess. So how did this thing happen? Most of these streets are over 50 years, and some of these landlords have died. So I guess next is to take their houses. Is it it? Tinubu will lose in Lagos come 2027 and be removed from the office is occupying illegally. Yorubas are waking up. They also make sure they name it with surnames. Crazy lot. I hope they are able to sleep well now at night. This shows you how sadist their intentions are. The level of tribal bigotry sticks. They should also use that same energy to rename Lagos, since it is a Portuguese name. Did I just see Obo Street to Togo food there? So many reactions. This one said, why only this local government? This is all they can do. It is not enough. They should go to other local government areas in Lagos and change Nnamdi Azikiwe Drive, Eni Ojuku Road, Avan Ikoku Drive, Muritala Mohammed Way, IBB Bridge, and Mecheta Close, to name a few. Person no go lost like this. They change the name of the street, but the street still remains underdeveloped. Stupidity is a disease. Honestly, this what is just disappointing. We are all Nigerians at the end of the day, but it's always the poor that get used as pawns. Look around, there is Uzoba Ubadiwe on the island. Street in Akwa Ibom named after Atiku and IBB, and nobody's making noise about it. Okay? So you can go to Rufai's page and read the remaining comments.
Chiming on, there's been a recent update on Google Map showing renamed streets in Lagos, and this has sparked controversy, particularly as it reflects the decision made by the Lagos state government to rename certain prominent roads. Some of these changes include renaming parts of Freedom Way to Bola Ahmed Tinubu Way, and other similar rebrandings meant to honor political figures. Now, these updates, now visible on Google Maps, have brought renewed public attention and stirred debate among residents and stakeholders who argue that such decisions were made without adequate public consultation. Now, critics say the renaming appear politically motivated and ignore the historical or symbolic value of the original street names. Civil society groups and some members of the public have voiced concerns over what they describe as a trend of renaming infrastructure to favor current political elite. Now, we've seen most of these names are, this is another major concern here is most of these names are street names that carry names from the southeast. A lot of them are being renamed to names from the southwest. That's why a lot of Nigerians are concerned. And the fact that this seemed to have been speedily done with Google Map approving it, and the name change now visible on Google Map is a major concern. You will see some of the street names right there. Imo is a street now to be known as Laiwola Oluwa. Oyikere Street, now Yeye Iretiola. George Street, now Daddy Shoki Street. Uzo Street, now Kalejaye Adeboye. Emodi Street, now Ayola Fatai. Oshod, okay, that's Deliverance Street. Well, a lot of this. So, what are your Ebubedike Street, now Adeyemi Samuel?
Most is the thing, it's quite unfortunate. It's politically motivated. And unfortunately, the people that did it very well, to hide something. They are sprinkling a sprinkle of some Yoruba names, but the majority of the names are clearly Igbo names. It's politically motivated. And unfortunately, I don't know why the average Yoruba man, the average Southwesterner feels very insecure when it comes to an Igbo thing. It's quite unfortunate. We have thriving Yoruba communities in the southeast. In Umuahia, where I schooled, we have an Adelabu Street. Nobody has ever tried to change that name. In Enugu, where I lived, we have Adelabu Street, and we have thriving Yoruba communities. It is not the business of the Igbo man doesn't get bothered about what you name, whether it is a Yoruba name. We have Hausa names, Hausa people, who have street names, streets named after them in the southeast, and nobody is bothered about all of those things. So as far as I'm concerned, it is an expression of some a sense of insecurity on the part of the Southwesterner.
Well,
Quite unfortunate that we are talking about it. Okay, why don't they rename Nnamdi Azikiwe Street in the island? I think they tried it some other time. Now, Muhammad Buhari owns has a university named after him in Maiduguri. So let the Maiduguri man say no.
Oh, well.
He should go to Katsina.
This street will continue bearing the old name for like 10 years before the new names actually might be able to sink in.
Oh, well, let's...
I saw a document in circulation about change of the names of streets in the Ajegule area of Lagos State. A host of the streets, the names of the streets in Lagos, in the Ajegule area, are names of people from other parts of the country who initially built houses in those areas and who settled in those areas. And so you have Mba Street, you have Abukuru Street, you have several streets there that bear Igbo names. And some of those houses have been there for years. In fact, Ajegule in those days used to be called Ileusobo because a lot of Urobo people lived in Ajegule. Now, there is a new wave of ethnocentricity and ethnophobia among the present crop of young Yoruba leadership from the APC in particular. Lagos is a home for all. And no ethnic nationality can ascribe the development of Lagos to itself. All tribes have contributed to Lagos, the development of Lagos State. In fact, people like Jakonde, they are from Kwara State. And in those days, people like Okotiebo and a host of others, including Alex Ekweme, owned buildings in Lagos State. And people lived together peacefully. We have Ibadan Street in Aba. We have streets of different parts of Nigeria in Umuahia. It is unfair. It is extreme pedestrian behavior for the present Yoruba leadership in Lagos State to start removing the names of other tribes from their streets. But they have the names of foreigners, people who are not from Nigeria. They have streets named after them. It shows the poverty of your brains, how stupid you are. If you are very, very bold, and if you are not slaves, go and change Amadu Bello way, whether you can stay in that Lagos. I am extremely disappointed that right from the time of the 2023 elections, Yorubas are known for elitism, egalitarianism, for tolerance, for democracy, and for advocacy without tribal bigotry. But I was surprised that people who are supposed to be intellectuals in Yoruba land started talking like street boys. I was surprised that people like Oluomo, MC Oluomo, were bold enough to threaten Igbos living in Lagos concerning elections. I was surprised that some primitive Bales were threatening Igbos about voting for a particular candidate. It's a very sickening and sad situation. Apart from, I made a statement concerning Buba Galadima, who said that they brought Buhari to checkmate Obasanjo. I have not seen any Yoruba elite or blogger make any statements condemning Buba Galadima. But when it comes to the Igbos, your muscles will stand erect, and it is then you want to show your primitive attitude. The Yorubas I know who are educated have been very unbiased, tribally neutral. They represented the conscience of the nation. People like Gani Fawehinmi, people like Dele Farotimi, people like Okiowo, people like Femi Falana, and a host of others. They were very, very detribalized. But these young APC politicians are very, very parochial. And somebody from the western part of this country must speak up against that retrogressive and primitive action. We have Yoruba Street in Sapele. You have Yoruba Party in the UK. Kemi Badenoch is Yoruba, but she is the leader of the Conservative Party in the UK. Why are you, all these people who have been to Europe and stayed in different parts of the world, why are you people becoming so primitive because of your tribalistic attitude? There's something I find irritating, is that those of you who are thinking of secession, either forming Arewa or forming Yoruba, Biafra, or forming Yoruba nation, you are going to be very intolerant of other people. You are going to be very, very wicked to strangers from the way you are behaving. And that's why I am always infuriated and irritated by your parochial and primitive instinct. Whoever initiated that move in Lagos to be changing the names of streets in Ajegule, you are going to start a national retaliatory action for your stupidity. You are illiterates. You are not true Yoruba elites. You are a gang of backward people who hate other tribes, particularly the Igbos. And this action must be condemned. It must be condemned. I see a tendency of people who are younger than my age bracket leaning towards the disintegration of this nation. But I see a deafening silence from elites who are of my age bracket, who enjoyed the unity of this country, not speaking up. They are not speaking up. You are allowing children without experience to direct you. It is sad. I just said that we have Yoruba Street in Sapele. The second house in my street is owned by a Yoruba man. And we cannot start degenerating. Remember, many of you are very parochial and very stupid. Look at what happened in Yugoslavia. When Yugoslavia started breaking up, you see the number of lives that were lost, the disaster and the destruction that took place, genocide that took place. You can't handle what will take place in Nigeria if we start breaking up this country. Many of you have nothing to lose, no investments anywhere outside your primitive enclaves. And some of you don't even have investments anywhere, particularly the young agitators from that are very intolerant of contrary opinion. So if you start changing the names of streets, does it make you the owner of the buildings? Mumu, does it make you the owner of the buildings? If every outsider leaves Lagos for you, you will have a skeleton. If we drive away northerners from our communities, we will have a skeleton. I'm against people who are criminals and bandits, like some of these Fulani headsmen that enter people's farms and destroy them and do all kinds of catastrophe. We should drive such people away from our communities. You so-called Yoruba elites, have you gone to Ondo State to drive out people who are killing your people? What did they worry you now? Now they craze, jobless people without the ability to compete and to contest.
It is obvious that this is political motivated, coupled with this hatred and jealousy some of the Yorubas, have towards Igbos. Like just because of P2B won election in Lagos State, this is the reason why these people are doing everything possible in order to make sure that they intimidate Igbos. Like, look at what they are doing, not just, changing of the names. Even changing of the names does not even remove anything from Igbos, but, collecting their lands and then burning their houses and shop. Like, that is the height of it, my people. That is the height of it. Like the level of division, Buhari government and Tinubu government brought to Nigeria. I don't think that Nigeria will remain the same again, honestly, because it has gotten out of hand. So other people will start doing what Yorubas are doing, right? Because there are a lot of streets in the southeast that have Yoruba names. So, which means they have to start doing what Yorubas are doing, right? Because nobody has the monopoly of madness. Like, we all are mad. We are just controlling ourselves to make sure that at least there is a level of peace in Nigeria. But some people do not want it at all because of this jealousy, hatred they have towards a tribe. It is quite unfortunate anyway. But should remember that Tinubu is not going to be there forever. One day Tinubu will not be in office again, right? Anyway, my people, I say make I bring this update to you guys. I hope you heard what they said here, especially what Dr. Charles Akpoki said. I would love you guys to leave your thoughts in the comment section as always. Subscribe for more updates. I will see you guys in my next update. Goodbye for now.
Welcome to Shammer Senior Steve.